Father, Lord, I thank you for every person connected to this prayer right now. You see their secret battles. You see their silent tears. You see the pressure on their shoulders that nobody else understands. Tonight, Lord, they have come because they are tired of fighting alone and they need your divine help. As we begin this prayer, surround them with your warrior angels, strengthen their spirits, and let them know you are with them. Psalm 121 declares that you are our keeper, our defender, and the one who never sleeps nor slumbers. So right now, arise for your children. Let every attack against their life scatter. Let every evil assignment break. Let every arrow return to sender by fire. Cover them, empower them, and prepare them for victory. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. I lift up my eyes to the hills and declare that my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And by his covenant help, every arrow of darkness fired against my life returns back to the sender with sevenfold force. For no evil hand can touch me after this divine covering. I decree that the Lord who watches over me will not allow my foot to slip. Therefore, every trap, snare, pit, or setup orchestrated against my destiny collapses and returns upon the heads of those who crafted it. For the keeper of Israel is my shield, and no evil shall touch me. I stand under the mantle of Psalm 121 and declare that the Lord neither sleeps nor slumbers concerning my life. Every monitoring spirit, night watcher, or evil observer assigned to track my progress is blinded, confused, and their evil assignment is sent back to sender immediately. According to Psalm 121:5, the Lord is my keeper. Therefore, every keeper of wickedness assigned to guard demonic operations against my life is arrested by divine fire, and their evil intentions return to sender permanently, for I am divinely preserved. I proclaim with holy boldness that the Lord is my shade at my right hand. And because of this covering, every scorching attack, spiritual heat, witchcraft affliction, and satanic oppression targeting my health, mind, finances, family, or destiny is reversed and sent back to the sender in Jesus' name. In alignment with Psalm 121:6, I declare that the sun shall not strike me by day, nor the moon by night, meaning every daytime evil, nighttime witchcraft, midnight arrow, twilight sorcery, and hidden enchantment formed against me is scattered and returned to sender violently. I stand upon Psalm 121:7 and decree that the Lord shall preserve me from all evil. Therefore no curse, no spell, no hex, no charm, no ritual, no demonic sacrifice, no incantation, no spiritual projection, no evil wish, and no wicked imagination shall touch me. Back to sender now. I decree by divine authority that the Lord shall preserve my soul, and because my soul is sealed by God, every power seeking to drain my energy, steal my virtue, exchange my star, manipulate my dreams, or weaken my spirit is crushed, and their evil arrows return to sender instantly. According to Psalm 8, the Lord shall preserve my going out and my coming in. Therefore, every evil waiting for me in the day, in the night, on the road, in the workplace, in my home, in the spirit realm, or in the environment is destroyed and returned to sender without mercy. I declare that from this time forth and forevermore, as Psalm 121 commands, no evil can touch me, no darkness can overshadow me, no wickedness can prevail against me, and every attack fashioned against me will continue to return to sender for the rest of my life because I am divinely secured. I decree that the keeper of my destiny rises in holy vengeance, and every evil personality that has vowed to trouble my life, monitor my footsteps, delay my progress, or divert my blessings receives divine judgment, and the arrows they prepared against me return to the sender with no escape. I declare that because my help comes from the Lord, every counterfeit help, deceptive agent, disguised enemy, and hidden manipulator pretending to support me is exposed, and the evil intentions they hide in their words, plans, and presence return to the sender immediately and permanently. I command every evil wind released against my household, winds of confusion, sickness, affliction, accidents, arguments, financial dryness, and spiritual heaviness, to cease now and return to the sender who issued them. For the Lord preserves my going out and coming in. I decree that the Lord's watchful eye frustrates every evil eye assigned to monitor me. Every gaze of jealousy, evil surveillance, astral projection, witchcraft monitoring, and spiritual stalking is destroyed, and the wickedness behind it returns to sender sevenfold. I stand on Psalm 121 and release heavenly fire against every altar speaking against my destiny. Altars of remembrance, altars of delay, altars of limitation, altars of misfortune, altars of stagnation, altars of repeated battles. Catch fire now, collapse completely, and back to sender in full measure. I declare that the Lord who stands as my shade destroys every dark shadow cast over my future. Every cloud of fear, oppression, ancestral bondage, generational cycle, or familiar spirit hovering around my destiny is shattered, and the arrows they plan return to sender violently. I decree by the Keeper of Israel that every attack programmed into my dreams, spiritual robberies, demonic feedings, witchcraft animals, assaults, nightmares, paralysis, or confusing visions is reversed and returned to sender, and the fire of God consumes every evil intruder seeking access to my soul. I decree that whoever has taken my name, my picture, my clothes, my hair, my documents, my properties, or anything that represents me for evil manipulation sees their plans backfire, and everything they projected against me returns to sender in full force. I declare that the sun shall not strike me by day, meaning every daytime battle, bad news, sudden loss, unexpected trouble, evil reports, destructive words, spiritual ambush, or environmental attack is nullified, reversed, canceled, and returned to sender instantly by the covenant of preservation. I decree that the moon shall not strike me by night, meaning every midnight conspiracy, witchcraft meetings, demonic gatherings, evil decrees, satanic covenants, ancestral summons, or hidden enchantments, scatters by fire, and every attack birthed in darkness returns to the sender without mercy. I decree by the covenant power in Psalm 121 that every evil assignment scheduled against my day is overturned now. Any agent of darkness carrying my name for harm, any voice speaking against my rising, any hand lifted to hinder my progress, may their wickedness return to the sender, and may divine judgment silence them forever. I stand upon Psalm 100 and declare that the Lord who preserves my soul frustrates every soul-hungry power seeking to drain my joy, peace, focus, strength, or spiritual fire. Every demonic appetite directed toward my virtue dries up, and their wicked intentions return to sender with no recovery. I proclaim that every curse released against my destiny, spoken, written, whispered, invoked, or imagined, is rendered powerless, and the evil energy behind it returns to sender immediately. For the Keeper of Israel shields me from all forms of evil contamination. I decree that the Lord's watchful presence exposes and destroys every hidden enemy, those smiling at me publicly but stabbing me secretly, those plotting behind closed doors, those using charm, manipulation, envy, or deceit against me. May their evil return to sender, and may they fall into their own traps. I command every wicked arrow programmed to bring delay, discouragement, shame, stagnation, or confusion to my life to reverse now. Let every arrow trace its sender and lodge upon the head of whoever designed it, for no evil shall touch me under God's preservation. I decree, according to Psalm 121:7, that the Lord shall preserve me from all evil. Therefore, every evil voice calling my name in the realms of darkness, every evil chant invoking my destiny, every demonic meeting discussing my future, every ritual seeking my downfall, back to sender instantly, for my soul is sealed. I declare that no weapon formed against my health shall prosper, sickness projected spiritually, infirmity transferred through dreams, affliction spoken into the air, and disease initiated through witchcraft must reverse and return to sender by divine command. I decree that every evil pattern trying to repeat itself in my life, failures at the edge of breakthrough, sudden disappointments, unexpected losses, relationship sabotages, spiritual dryness, fear attacks, emotional battles, break now and return to sender permanently. I declare by the Keeper of my destiny that every territorial spirit, environmental power, or demonic stronghold operating in the places I live, work, or travel is uprooted and scattered. Any evil presence resisting my rising returns to the sender, for the Lord preserves my going out and my coming in. I decree that every evil prophecy, every negative decree, every spoken judgment, every satanic verdict, and every curse launched against my life is nullified, reversed, and returned to sender. and only the word of the Lord shall stand over my destiny. I decree by the fire of Psalm 121 that every chain placed on my hands, feet, mind, finances, opportunities, or relationships by evil powers breaks now, and the demonic forces enforcing those chains experience the same captivity they intended for me as their wickedness returns to sender without mercy. I stand upon the covenant of Psalm 121 and declare that every evil cycle repeating itself in my life, patterns of disappointment, failure, betrayal, near success losses, dream attacks, or emotional heaviness, is broken forever, and every spirit sustaining those patterns receives back to sender judgment. By the help of the Lord who made heaven and earth, I decree that every power using the elements earth, wind, water, fire, moon, sun, or stars to project attacks against me is defeated, and their evil projections are reversed and returned to sender with divine force. I declare, according to Psalm 121, that any hand lifted to curse me, any mouth opened to speak evil over me, any thought imagined to harm me, and any altar raised to hinder me shall fail instantly, and all the evil they released will return to the sender, multiplied by heaven's judgment. I decree that every spiritual ambush set for me in the morning, afternoon, evening, or midnight collapses now, and the planners of such ambushes fall into the very traps they crafted. For the Lord preserves my going out and my coming in from this time forth and forevermore. I proclaim by Psalm 121 that every evil dream manipulation, serpents, spiders, masquerades, ancestral figures, shadow beings, strange voices, or demonic attacks loses its power over me, and every spiritual arrow sent in those dreams returns violently to the sender who released it. I decree that the Lord who never sleeps nor slumbers frustrates every nighttime wickedness assigned against me. Every witchcraft meeting, evil gathering, demonic counsel, or satanic arrangement targeting my name scatters by divine fire, and all their wicked decrees return to sender instantly. I declare that every evil gate, door, portal, or spiritual access point open to trouble my life is shut forever, sealed by the blood of Jesus. And every force that attempted to enter my life through those gates receives back their own evil and returns to sender without escape. In the authority of Psalm 121, I decree that no environmental evil, polluted atmospheres, spiritual contamination, negative energy, curses in the land, wickedness in the neighborhood, or territorial manipulation shall touch me, and every evil released into the environment against me goes back to sender immediately. I proclaim that every evil foundation fighting my destiny, ancestral covenants, generational curses, family altars, inherited battles, or spiritual debts, is broken now by the keeper of my soul, and every power enforcing those evils receives back to sender judgment with no reversal. I decree by the power of Psalm 121 that every evil voice speaking failure into my day, confusion into my mind, fear into my heart, or instability into my steps is silenced forever, and the negativity they planned returns to the sender in full measure as the Lord preserves my path. I stand on the strength of Psalm 121 and declare that every satanic delay holding back my blessings, testimonies, open doors, approvals, relationships, finances, or breakthroughs is broken now, and the evil forces behind the delay receive their own arrows back to sender without mercy. By the covenant of divine help, I decree that any power attempting to block my prayers, intercept my answers, or divert my blessings is brought down by heavenly judgment, and whatever evil they prepared against me is returned to sender sevenfold by the authority of the Lord who watches over me. I declare that every demonic shadow following me, shadow of death, fear, setbacks, limitation, or stagnation, is destroyed by the light of God, and the darkness they intended for me returns to sender. For the Lord is my shade, and no evil can overpower his covering. I decree that any power that rises to oppose my rising, resist my progress, discourage my spirit, or attack my confidence is shattered by divine fire, and every wicked plan, spoken or unspoken, returns to sender as the keeper of Israel fights for me. By the help of the Lord, I command every evil roadblock placed on my path, roadblocks of confusion, misdirection, bad decisions, wrong relationships, spiritual blindness, or emotional weariness, to be removed now, and the powers behind them receive their evil intentions back to sender instantly. I proclaim that every demonic timeline set to delay my destiny, timelines of failure, suffering, disappointment, or repeated battles, is canceled by the authority of Psalm 121, and every evil countdown working against me reverses and returns to sender with no recovery. I decree that every spiritual claim over my life, claims from evil altars, claims from jealous enemies, claims from ancestral spirits, claims through witchcraft, or claims through evil covenants, is broken now, and every evil claim returns to sender as the Lord preserves my soul. I declare that every attack prepared to strike me in a moment of weakness, attacks in anger, attacks in sorrow, attacks in fatigue, attacks in confusion, attacks in distraction, shall fail completely, and the evil released in those moments returns to sender, for the Lord is my keeper. I decree that every wicked observer monitoring my movements, listening for my mistakes, waiting for my downfall, or hoping for my defeat is exposed and frustrated, and whatever evil they plan returns to sender violently, while the Lord surrounds me with divine preservation. I decree by the authority of Psalm 121 that every evil assignment placed on my name, whether spoken in anger, written in secret, whispered in darkness, manipulated through objects, or invoked through rituals, fails instantly, and every curse spoken against me returns to the sender with divine force. I proclaim that every hidden plot, whispered plan, underground scheme, or silent conspiracy designed to bring shame to my life is exposed and destroyed, and the same disgrace they intended returns to sender sevenfold, as the Lord who never sleeps watches over me. I stand on Psalm 121 and declare that every enemy waiting for my downfall, waiting for my weakness, waiting for my mistakes, waiting for my vulnerability, waits in vain, for the Lord preserves my soul, and the wicked expectations they set for me return to the sender in shame. I decree that every spirit of confusion assigned to my life, confusion in decisions, confusion in relationships, confusion in finances, confusion in direction, confusion in identity, is cast out completely, and the confusion they prepared for me returns to sender, while I walk in clarity under divine preservation. I declare by the Keeper of Israel that every secret arrow fired at my emotions, my confidence, my joy, my peace, or my mental strength is reversed now, and the emotional damage they planned returns to the sender as the Lord heals and guards my inner man. I decree that every evil pattern assigned to repeat itself in my life, failures at the edge of breakthrough, sudden disappointments, unexpected losses, relationship sabotages, spiritual dryness, fear attacks, emotional battles, is broken permanently, and the forces enforcing those patterns receive their own arrows back to sender without escape. I proclaim that every evil personality pretending to love me but plotting against me, pretending to support me but sabotaging me, pretending to celebrate me but envying me, is exposed and disgraced, and the betrayal they designed returns to sender, while the Lord preserves my going out and coming in. I decree that every demonic exchange made against my destiny, exchanges of virtue, health, favor, opportunities, blessings, or peace, is reversed now, and everything stolen returns to me, while the destruction they intended returns to sender immediately by the power of Psalm 121. I declare that every witchcraft meeting discussing my name collapses. Every decision taken against my future is reversed. Every evil decree is rejected by heaven, and all the evil energy they projected returns violently to sender as the Lord becomes my shield both day and night. I decree with holy boldness that every power waiting to strike me unexpectedly, striking my health, my finances, my family, my progress, or my faith, is arrested by divine fire, and the sudden attack they designed returns suddenly to the sender as the Lord preserves me from all evil. I decree by the covenant of Psalm 121 that every serpent spirit sent to intimidate me, bite my progress, poison my relationships, or weaken my spiritual strength is destroyed by divine fire, and the venom they plan for me returns immediately to the sender with multiplied judgment. I declare that every evil decision made in darkness concerning my destiny, decisions to stop my rising, block my opportunities, frustrate my efforts, or manipulate my future, is overturned now, and the evil authors of those decisions receive back to sender the wickedness they intended for me. I decree, according to Psalm 121, that no evil hand shall direct my steps into danger, error, loss, or regret. Any power attempting to mislead me or confuse my direction falls by divine fire, and the trap they set for me returns to the sender instantly and violently. I proclaim that every demonic storm stirred against my peace, storms of anxiety, storms of fear, storms of discouragement, storms of spiritual heaviness, ceases now, and the forces that engineered those storms experience back-to-sender destruction while I walk in the calmness of God's preservation. I stand on the covenant of divine help and declare that every enemy rising to challenge my answered prayers, resist my breakthroughs, or fight my testimonies is scattered now, and the energy of their attacks returns to the sender, while my blessings remain untouched under the covering of the Lord. I decree that every satanic interruption assigned to break my focus, slow my journey, weaken my faith, drain my strength, or distract my spirit is removed now, and the interruption they prepared returns to the sender as God preserves my going out and coming in. I proclaim by the fire of Psalm 121 that every dark cloud hanging over my destiny, clouds of disappointment, clouds of stagnation, clouds of unexplainable battles, clouds of misfortune, clouds of delay, disperses now, and the negativity they assigned to those clouds returns to sender completely. I declare that every evil voice echoing my name in darkness, calling me for destruction, summoning me for sickness, invoking me for failure, or targeting me for spiritual attack, is silenced permanently, and the judgment behind that voice returns violently to the sender. I decree that every wicked seed planted in my life, seed of fear, seed of failure, seed of weakness, seed of setback, seed of spiritual assault, is uprooted now, and the sowers of those evil seeds reap their own wicked harvest as their intentions return to sender without mercy. I proclaim that every satanic timeline programmed to activate trouble, activate sorrow, activate loss, activate confusion, or activate warfare in my life is canceled now, and the trouble they scheduled for me returns to the sender, while the Lord preserves me from all evil. I decree by the authority of Psalm 121 that every evil wind blowing toward my household, winds of confusion, sickness, arguments, losses, or sudden spiritual heaviness, is reversed now, and the turbulence they intended for my peace returns to the sender with multiplied force. I declare that every power using dreams to attack my destiny, dream thieves, spiritual manipulators, witchcraft animals, demonic pursuers, masquerade spirits, familiar spirits, ancestral beings, is arrested now, and the affliction they planted in the dream realm returns violently to the sender. I decree that every wicked expectation spoken over my life, expectation of my failure, expectation of my downfall, expectation of my delay, expectation of my shame, fails instantly, and the evil desires of the wicked return to the sender in full and irreversible measure. I proclaim by the keeper of Israel that every satanic messenger carrying evil reports about me, evil information about me, or evil assignments against me is struck down by divine judgment, and the evil message they carried returns to sender, while I remain hidden under God's covering. I decree that every attack formed against my finances, attacks of loss, strange expenses, financial dryness, unexpected troubles, delayed payments, stolen opportunities, fails completely, and the financial arrows they fired return to sender, while my resources remain preserved by the Lord. I declare that every spirit of heaviness placed upon my spirit to weaken my prayer life, mute my worship, drain my focus, or distract my spirit is lifted now, and the heaviness they planned returns to sender, while my inner man grows stronger under divine help. I decree that every spiritual parasite feeding on my blessings, parasites of delay, parasites of distraction, parasites of envy, parasites of demonic interference, is destroyed now, and the consumption they planned for my destiny returns to the sender without mercy. I proclaim that every shadow of death, shadow of tragedy, shadow of fear, or a shadow of misfortune following me is scattered now by the light of Psalm 121, and the dark shadow they intended for me returns instantly to the sender, while I walk in the brightness of God's preservation. I decree that every wicked prophecy, every evil decree, every negative declaration, every dark utterance, and every demonic pronouncement spoken against my name, my children, my home, my health, my progress, or my future is nullified now and returned to sender sevenfold. I declare by the Lord who never sleeps nor slumbers that every midnight attacks of arrows, nightmares, spiritual oppression, witchcraft summons, astral projections, and demonic interruptions is crushed now, and everything they programmed for the night returns violently to the sender while I sleep in divine safety. I decree by the covenant of Psalm 121 that every evil force assigned to drain my strength, reduce my progress, frustrate my effort, or weaken my spirit is destroyed now, and the depletion they intended for my life returns immediately to the sender as the Lord refreshes and restores me. I proclaim that every demonic timeline set to activate battles at specific ages, seasons, or milestones in my life is canceled now. Every scheduled disappointment, every time failure, every pre-planned attack is reversed, and the trouble they intended returns to sender without escape. I decree that every spiritual spider weaving webs of delay, confusion, stagnation, or limitation in my path is consumed by fire, and the entanglement they planned for my destiny returns to sender, while the Lord clears my path with divine help. I declare that every enemy pretending not to see my rising, but secretly fighting my elevation is exposed and disgraced, and the sabotage they designed returns to sender, while God lifts me beyond their reach under the covering of Psalm 121. I decree that every demonic tracking device used to monitor my movements, my progress, my conversations, my decisions, or my opportunities is destroyed now, and the monitoring spirit behind it receives the same confusion, blindness, and destruction they planned for me back to sender. I proclaim that every power waiting to confront me at the gate of my breakthrough, whether spiritual gatekeepers, ancestral gatekeepers, witchcraft gatekeepers, or territorial gatekeepers, is scattered now, and the resistance they prepared returns violently to the sender, while my gates open by divine preservation. I decree that every evil dream covenant formed without my consent, covenants of bondage, setbacks, sickness, spiritual exchange, delay, or manipulation, is broken now, and the covenant makers reap the consequences as everything they programmed returns to sender. I declare that every demonic boomerang released against my life, words, arrows, thoughts, projections, curses, returns to its sender instantly, and no evil shall land upon my life. For the keeper of my soul watches over me day and night. I decree that every invisible battle assigned to frustrate my progress, drain my energy, or break my spirit collapses now, and the warfare they intended for me returns to sender, while I advance under the shield of divine help. I proclaim by the authority of Psalm 121 that every assignment launched against my destiny helper, attacks of confusion, discouragement, delay, separation, or manipulation, is reversed now, and the evil they planned against those sent to bless me returns to sender while divine connections are preserved. I decree by the authority of Psalm 121 that every evil river flowing toward my life, river of sorrow, river of losses, river of stagnation, river of sudden attacks, is dried up now, and the sorrow they intended to flood my destiny returns to the sender in multiplied judgment. I declare that every demonic force projecting fear into my heart, fear of failure, fear of rising, fear of people, fear of progress, fear of spiritual growth, is cast out forever, and the fear they plan for me returns instantly to the sender, while boldness rises within me. I decree that every enemy assigning spiritual burdens to my shoulders, burdens of worry, burdens of anxiety, burdens of confusion, burdens of guilt, burdens of shame, is defeated now, and the heaviness they designed returns to the sender while God strengthens me. I proclaim by Psalm 121 that every wicked man or woman plotting against my progress, plotting against my peace, plotting against my joy, plotting against my blessings, is arrested by divine judgment, and every wicked intention returns violently to the sender, while my life remains preserved. I decree that every demonic mirror used to monitor my life, my blessings, my rising, or my household breaks now, and the monitoring spirit behind it receives blindness, confusion, and destruction as their evil returns to the sender sevenfold. I declare that every satanic road built to lead me into trouble, roads of disaster, roads of regret, roads of loss, roads of temptation, roads of hidden danger, is shut down permanently, and the destruction they prepared along that path returns to the sender. I decree that every serpent assigned to swallow my blessings, swallow my opportunities, swallow my testimony, or swallow my joy is cut down by divine fire, and the consumption they intended for my life returns to the sender without mercy. I proclaim that every curse released against my name, whether through jealousy, hatred, envy, witchcraft, anger, malice, or demonic intent, collapses instantly, and the curse returns to sender in the exact measure they released against me. I decree that every demonic fog sent to cloud my decisions, cloud my understanding, cloud my insight, or cloud my spiritual sensitivity is cleared away now, and the confusion they planned returns to sender, while I walk in divine clarity under the keeper of my soul. I declare by the one who preserves my going out and coming in that every enemy waiting to attack me in moments of transition, in travel, in movement, in change, in new seasons, is struck down now, and the ambush they prepared returns fully to the sender as I move forward in divine safety. I decree by the power of Psalm 121 that every evil decree spoken in the early hours of the morning against my life, decrees of delay, decrees of confusion, decrees of failure, decrees of loss, is nullified now, and every wicked word returns violently to the sender while the Lord preserves my day. I declare that every demonic surveillance tracking my progress, whether spiritual, physical, or through evil technology, is blinded permanently, and the monitoring spirit behind it receives the blindness, confusion, and destruction they prepared for me back to the sender. I decree that every power attempting to steal my star, steal my virtue, steal my anointing, steal my ideas, steal my blessings, or steal my opportunities is destroyed now, and the theft they planned for my destiny returns instantly to the sender, while restoration locates me. I proclaim by the keeper of Israel that every negative atmosphere created around me, atmosphere of tension, atmosphere of fear, atmosphere of sadness, atmosphere of misunderstanding, is cleared away now, and the negativity they prepared returns fully to the sender. I decree that every satanic chain placed on my movement, chains of stagnation, chains of delay, chains of missed opportunities, chains of backwardness, is broken permanently, and the bondage they planned returns directly to the sender as I advance under divine preservation. I declare that every evil hand stretched toward my home, hands of manipulation, hands of destruction, hands of confusion, hands of sickness, is cut off instantly, and the trouble they intended for my household returns violently to the sender. I decree by Psalm 121 that every enemy that rises against me at night, through dreams, projections, enchantments, or spiritual intimidation, is scattered instantly, and the nighttime attack they intended returns aggressively to the sender, while the Lord shields my sleep. I proclaim that every wicked voice speaking confusion into my relationships, voices stirring arguments, voices stirring distrust, voices stirring division, is silenced forever, and the division they plan returns directly to the sender, while my relationships remain covered by peace. I decree that every demonic delay positioned at the gate of my breakthrough, delay in finances, delay in career, delay in ministry, delay in destiny connections, is shattered now, and the delay they intended returns to the sender while my gates open with divine speed. I declare that every satanic mark placed upon me, mark of rejection, mark of failure, mark of stagnation, mark of bad luck, mark of spiritual attack, is erased forever, and the affliction they programmed through that mark returns violently to the sender, while the Lord preserves my soul. I decree by the mantle of Psalm 121 that every evil shadow following me, shadow of fear, shadow of setback, shadow of spiritual attack, shadow of intimidation, shadow of stagnation, is scattered now, and the darkness assigned to overshadow me returns violently to the sender, while I walk in the brightness of divine protection. I declare that every demonic verdict concluded against my life, verdicts of delay, verdicts of denial, verdicts of frustration, verdicts of sickness, verdicts of limitation, is overturned by the keeper of Israel. And the judgment the wicked intended for me returns to sender without mercy. I decree that every evil whisper released against my name, whispers of slander, whispers of manipulation, whispers of sabotage, whispers of envy, is silenced now, and the poison they released in secret returns straight to the sender as God defends my reputation. I proclaim by Psalm 121 that every power stealing my peace, stealing my rest, stealing my focus, stealing my joy, or stealing my spiritual fire is exposed and destroyed, and the theft they planned for my life returns fully to the sender, while peace is restored to my soul. I decree that every demonic ladder giving evil access to my life, ladders of manipulation, ladders of ancestral influence, ladders of witchcraft intrusion, is broken now, and every force that climbed into my life through those ladders receives their own destruction back to sender. I declare that every trap set for my rising, traps in relationships, traps in opportunities, traps in decisions, traps in emotions, is revealed and destroyed, and the downfall they prepared for me returns directly to the sender, while my steps remain divinely preserved. I decree by the power of Psalm 121 that every wicked exchange made in the spirit, exchanges of health, exchanges of blessings, exchanges of peace, exchanges of virtue, exchanges of financial stability, is reversed now, and the destruction they intended through that exchange returns to sender. I proclaim that every evil load placed on my shoulders, load of fear, load of depression, load of exhaustion, load of spiritual weakness, is lifted now, and the heaviness they planned for my life returns to sender, as the Lord strengthens me with supernatural support. I decree that every altar speaking failure into my destiny, altars raised by envy, altars raised by hatred, altars raised by jealousy, altars raised by witchcraft, altars raised by household enemies, is consumed by divine fire, and every evil sacrifice made against me returns to sender without escape. I declare by the keeper of my soul that every seasonal attack, attacks that come at specific times, specific moments, specific months, specific transitions, is canceled now, and the warfare they intended for this season returns directly to the sender, while the Lord preserves my going out and coming in. I decree by Psalm 121 that every power waiting to strike me at the moment of my breakthrough is arrested now. Any evil force hiding at the edge of my elevation, planning disappointment, failure, or spiritual interruption is consumed by divine fire, and every trap they set returns immediately to the sender. I declare that every spiritual document written against my destiny, documents of rejection, documents of limitation, documents of backwardness, documents of misfortune, is torn by the hand of the Lord, and every negative decree recorded in those papers returns violently to the sender. I decree that any evil personality using my past, my mistakes, my weaknesses, or my history as a weapon against my rising is silenced forever, and the shame they planned for me returns to sender, while the Lord clothes me with honor and new beginnings. I proclaim that every evil gatekeeper standing at the doors of my blessings, gatekeepers in the spirit, gatekeepers in the family line, gatekeepers in the environment, or gatekeepers in positions of influence, is overthrown now, and the resistance they prepared returns directly to the sender. I decree that every demonic whisper seeking to confuse my decisions, whispers of doubt, whispers of fear, whispers of misdirection, whispers of failure, is silenced instantly, and the confusion they intended for me returns to sender, while my steps are guided by divine clarity. I declare by Psalm 121 that every power releasing spiritual insects into my life, locusts of loss, ants of destruction, worms of frustration, serpents of fear, is crushed now, and the destruction they intended returns fully to the sender, while my blessings remain protected. I decree that every silent battle designed to wear me down, battles in my mind, battles in my emotions, battles in my atmosphere, battles in my relationships, is defeated permanently, and the pressure they intended for me returns to sender, while the Lord preserves my soul. I proclaim that every evil decree calling my destiny backwards, calling my finances backwards, calling my progress backwards, calling my joy backwards, is canceled now, and the backwardness they invoked returns directly to the sender, while I advance by divine speed. I decree that every force trying to exchange my joy for sorrow, my peace for chaos, my strength for weakness, or my blessings for battles is judged now, and the demonic exchange they attempted returns to sender, while divine restoration flows into my life. I declare by the keeper of Israel that every storm sent to break my spirit, storm of sudden loss, storm of unexpected trouble, storm of emotional collapse, storm of spiritual confusion, is silenced now, and the storm they released returns violently to the sender, while I remain preserved under the shelter of the Most High. I decree by Psalm 121 that every evil storm rising against my destiny, storms of sudden setbacks, storms of emotional attacks, storms of invisible battles, storms of spiritual heaviness, is scattered now, and the violence they designed for my life returns fiercely to the sender, while the Lord shields my path. I declare that every demonic lion roaring against my progress, roaring in dreams, roaring in the spirit realm, roaring through intimidation, roaring through fear, loses its power now, and the destruction it prepared for me returns immediately to the sender while I walk in divine boldness. I decree that every hand holding my blessings hostage, hands of witchcraft, hands of jealousy, hands of envy, hands of manipulation, hands of generational bondage, is cut off now, and the captivity they intended for my destiny returns directly to the sender without mercy. I proclaim by the keeper of Israel that every spiritual ambush prepared for me, ambush in relationships, ambush in finances, ambush in dreams, ambush in opportunities, is overturned now, and the danger they planned returns to the sender while my steps remain ordered by God. I decree that every serpent assigned to bite my progress, serpent of manipulation, serpent of sabotage, serpent of distraction, serpent of household wickedness, is crushed completely, and the poison they intended for me returns violently to the sender, while the Lord preserves my soul. I declare that every evil broadcast announcing my downfall, broadcast of shame, broadcast of sickness, broadcast of failure, broadcast of disgrace, is canceled now, and the negativity they spread returns directly to the sender as God announces my elevation. I decree by Psalm 121 that every satanic rope tying my destiny, ropes of stagnation, ropes of limitation, ropes of disappointment, ropes of delay, is cut by divine fire, and the bondage they planned returns instantly to the sender, while I advance freely. I proclaim that every power calling my name for misfortune, calling my name in darkness, calling my name in jealousy, calling my name in hatred, calling my name in witchcraft, is silenced forever, and the misfortune they invoked returns aggressively to the sender. While my name becomes blessed, I decree that every evil wind blowing confusion into my relationships, my assignments, my decisions, or my environment is reversed now, and the confusion they engineered returns to the sender. While the Lord releases divine clarity over my path, I declare that every wicked personality watching my rising to attack me, watching in jealousy, watching in bitterness, watching in hidden hatred, is exposed and defeated, and the attack they intended for my breakthrough returns violently to the sender, while the Lord preserves my coming in and going out forever. I decree by the fire of Psalm 121 that every evil altar calling my spirit, my destiny, my name, or my blessings into captivity collapses now, and the bondage they intended for my life returns violently to the sender, while the Lord surrounds me with impenetrable protection. I declare that every wicked hand planting sorrow, planting confusion, planting bitterness, planting losses, or planting frustration in my path is cut off instantly, and the sorrow they intended for my journey returns directly to the sender, while my steps are preserved by the keeper of Israel. I decree that every demonic prophecy spoken over my future, prophecy of failure, prophecy of struggle, prophecy of shame, prophecy of sickness, prophecy of delay, is canceled now, And the destruction they declared returns to the sender, while God's word alone stands over my destiny. I proclaim by Psalm 121 that every evil watcher assigned to track my movements, observe my rising, or monitor my progress is blinded permanently, and the evil they planned while watching returns fiercely to the sender, while my progress accelerates unhindered. I decree that every curse sent to slow me down, curse of hardship, curse of stagnation, curse of near success failure, curse of constant battles, is broken now, and the hardship they directed toward my path returns immediately to the sender, while I move forward in divine speed. I declare that every satanic wind blowing misfortune into my family, blowing sickness into my loved ones, blowing losses into my home, or blowing confusion into my environment is reversed now, and the misfortune they intended returns brutally to the sender, while my home remains preserved. I decree by the keeper of my soul that every power manipulating my identity, seeking to erase my relevance, reduce my influence, weaken my voice, or dim my light, is destroyed now, and the manipulation they intended returns violently to the sender, while God restores my identity with glory. I proclaim that every evil agenda written into my season, agenda of disappointment, agenda of confusion, agenda of battle, agenda of sudden calamity, is torn apart by divine intervention, and the calamity they planned returns fully to the sender, while my season becomes blessed. I decree that every dark force speaking failure at the entrance of my new opportunities is silenced forever, and the failure they prepared for my open doors returns instantly to the sender, while the Lord preserves my going out and my coming in from this time forth and forevermore. I declare by Psalm 121 that every attack scheduled for my future, whether tomorrow, next week, next month, next season, or next year, is canceled permanently, and the long-term danger they prepared returns without mercy to the sender, while the Lord becomes my everlasting shield. Father, I thank you for every person who joined this prayer. By the authority of Psalm 120, I declare their lives sealed under your protection. Every arrow fired against them is reversed. Every evil assignment is destroyed. Every hidden attack returns to sender by fire. From tonight, no evil shall touch them. Lord, cover them, strengthen them, and surround them with your warrior angels. Let divine cleansing secret continue to be a place of deliverance, breakthrough, and supernatural protection for everyone who connects. Their going out and their coming in is blessed, secured, and preserved forever. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.